Good morning. This is Shirley Luu. I'm back. Here's another great episode that you're about to hear. Because you know what? I'm really excited because winter's about to be over and we have spring coming up. And to me, that's pretty exciting. Well, won't be very much longer that I have to wear these thick sweater here. But first of all, hopefully, as we're starting the new years and going into springtime, I hope every one of you today will take heed to some of my advice regarding your finance. I believe it's time for you to start cleaning up your finance, especially with springtime coming. So the first thing I think I want to do is this, if family, you could just take a minute there, or if you own a business or anything at all. Tax season is also, coming up for business people. You need to really look at your finance right now and take a look at where you are. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about, from budgeting standpoint and from finance standpoint, what are some key things that you need to take a look at when it comes to your money and your finance. Okay. A lot of time folks comes to me and the very first thing they said to me is, okay, you know what? I haven't been saving money and I should be saving money, but I just don't know where to begin. And then another question is that, okay, I owe a lot of debt. I owe a lot of bills. So the question is do I pay off the bills first? Do I start saving? That happens all the time. A lot of people thinking that they need to start, pay off the debt before they start saving. The problem is they always have the daggone debts. So they can never ever start saving because the debts is always there. So one of the things that when it comes to that question, I would always tell the folks, how about this? Since you have all the debts, why don't you make yourself a bill for yourself first? Before you pay anybody else, why don't you pay yourself first? Make that a priority as one of the debt that you have. Because let me tell you, this is going to be one debt that you won't regret later when you take a look back and say, wow, I'm glad I started something, pay myself first. That's the first thing. Second of all, when it comes to your budget and finance, I think, before any one of us can start thinking about savings, is you need to know where you are. It's kind of like a roadmap. You need to understand where you are today in order to get to a destination. So if you want to retire at a certain age, you have to plan for it. I know some of you young folks out there may be listening in and say, well, I'm still young, I got time horizon. You don't have time horizon. Believe me, time passes by very quick before you know it. Because this is the typical conversation I have with all different ages, okay? I would meet a 21-year-old or 25-year-old and said, hey, you need to start saving. And the first comment they tell to me is, I can't save. Are you kidding? I just finished college. I have all these debt that I have. I can't save. I have to pay off my student loan, right? Then I meet someone that's maybe 35. Tell them to save. Oh, I really can't save because, I'm dating and, we're planning to get married and the wedding is going to cost us a lot of money and all these kind of things that's happening. And plus we want to have, kids in the future and all that, childcare and things like that could be very expensive. Then I meet a 45-year-old, tell them to save. You know what the response is? Oh my gosh, we got married, we got all these kids and they're starting college and, and we can't save because I have to pay for college. Besides that, with the mortgages and college and all that, I can't save. Then you meet a 55-year-old that says, oh my goodness, you know what? With the kids out of the house and all that right now, however, we just finish up, trying to pay up this house before we start retiring. And we got all these other debt that accumulated between kids and college. We can't afford to save. Plus, at 55, we think we're kind of late. Then I meet a 65. A 65 tell me, man, I should have listened, saved when I was younger. 65-year-olds, I should have listened and start saving when I was younger. So which one are you in those ages? Because it's important when it comes to your money and finance, and don't let one of those situations dictate to where you are and what you could be. Now, let's go back to a little bit about the finance and budget. So the first thing I do is you would sit down and, on a sheet of paper, write down every bills that you have. Electric bill, car bill, insurance bill, car payment, mortgage, it doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, sometimes people don't even after they wrote it down, they're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm bringing more money than that, but why are looking at my bills, I'm paying out less than what I'm bringing in, but I still don't have money. That's because, you know why? You forget those fun times that when your friend goes, hey, let's go catch a movie. Hey, let's go hang out. Oh, let's go get, my daughter loves bubble tea. I don't know if any of you have any daughter or teenager. Bubble tea is what they go all day long. Then you got, they're spending money buying here and there. Maybe you're loaning some friends some temporary money. So those things adds up. And it's amazing if sometimes you can take a look at, oh, wow, where did my money spent? I mean, just like yesterday, I went to the airport. The guy that was handing our luggage, I ended up giving him $20 tip. Well, $20 tips right off bat, that's money spent that sometimes you don't think about, right? So I encourage you to write down all your debts, everything that you have to you spend for the month, because that's where you can fine tooth, the spending habit. Once you identify that, it's really interesting. The second phase of it is identify which bills could you eliminate. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine looked at his bill, and he was paying Netflix. He's paying Hulu. He's paying Disney Channel. He was paying gazillion of these channels, and it ended up like almost $200 of just TV service. And I asked him, I said, are you watching at least $200? And well, no, I don't have time. So what I'm saying to you is that I'm not saying eliminate it all, but I think you need to take a look at which subscription of those TV network that you could, get rid of, streaming things. And, a lot of time, believe it or not, YouTube have so many things that's going on, and the internet. Honestly, between you and I, sometimes I see my hubby and other folks, they're on the daggone phone. They're looking at the phone, they're scrolling the phone all day long. Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be. So, I don't know, do you need all that subscription? That's the first thing. The second thing is I know that people don't pay attention to the car insurance. Okay, so you pay car insurance is a normal things that you pay every day, every month to coverage for the car, right? Have you looked at competitive rates to see what other company out there that could be competitive, giving side-by-side comparison? Hey, I did mine recently and I saved like $400 a year. Okay, now, $400 doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot. Can you imagine if you had that extra $400 that you found somewhere? So I would encourage you to take a look at the car insurance that you have, any kind of bill, any kind of things that you have at all, because I think that is so, so important to take a look at. Not just the car insurance, how about whether it's health insurance? If you're paying the car insurance or health insurance, can you take a higher deductible? Because if you take a higher deductible, it can save a lot more money versus, you don't have that situation that's happening with your bills. Now, once you have identified all those expenses, then let's take a look at income coming in, okay? Expense and income, is your income more than your expense? Hopefully, yes. Because if that's, once you pay off your expense, you should be able to be in position to pay off some of that bills and also save money. Because it's so important that people don't think about for the future what they need to do when it comes to money. Then let's look at saving, okay? If you start off with your saving, the first thing you do if you're working at a job, find out if they have a 401k. Or maybe you have self-employed, IRA, any kind of those things that you're contributing. And one of the things in the next segment, I'll talk a little bit about the 401k in details. But it's important to know that if a company matches you on the money, get free matching, guy. Free good money, free matching is always a good thing to have. But you got to start somewhere. Most company will do, 3% up to 5% or 6%, maybe more if you're lucky in some one of those companies. Look at whether or not this company have a pension plan. Anything that your company could offer, take advantage of it. I know also when it comes to your benefit, a lot of time when it comes to life insurance, your company gives you what's called free insurance. One time your salary, take advantage of that as well, because anything, like I said, free is good. It's interesting. you all have a banking account, checking and savings, and you know how they send you those little thing. Oh, our credit union is offering $1,000 insurance for free, and then you can buy more and all that. Well, here's the situation. Remember what I said to you? Free is good, but don't buy that extra that credit union other folks gives you, because you know why? It usually costs a lot more money, guys, than you get a private independent policy outside. So I think, you know, for the month of March, why don't we first gather our data, gather information, gather every investment retirement that you have. I want you to take a look at it. Is the fund investment that you have, is it performing, underperforming, overperforming? Do you need to allocate the stuff? It's just time that you just need to sit down. Then we'll talk next about wills and estate and trust, you know, medical directive, all these kind of things. Are you playing it properly? You know, it's such an important piece that, you know, spend this month to do cleanup house of the kind of things that you need to do. Highly recommend, highly suggest, get your husband or wife, sit down and say, hey, honey, you know, we're busy doing everything else, but I think it's time that we need to sit down and take a serious look where we are in finance. Because if you don't, time passes by very quick, and you need to get your finance in order to have a clean slate, you know, for the rest of the year. You may want to look at, you know, your expense as well, reducing it if you could in some cases, and make changes. Because believe me, once you make that changes, you never look back and you're going to say, wow, that's the best thing I ever did. You know, do it once a year, guys, and make it, you know, end of the year or beginning of springtime if you want to make things in order for those businesses. You got April tax coming up for businesses, so again, you need to get that stuff in order anyway on your business expense. So with that being said, you know, until next time, remember, we rise by uplift other. And for those of you who want to get in touch with me, Shirley Luu and Associates, you can Google Shirley Luu, L-U-U, and my reach number is 703-608-1203. Until next time.